Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on another episode of The Engine Room, a podcast by Token Metrics. My name is Dylan Love, and I'm joined just as I am every Monday by Mr. Jacob Koch-Gallup. Jacob is our market analyst. And
Yes.
what a day to be analyzing the markets, Jacob, because Facebook has absolutely crapped the bed today. The stock is down 5% for the day. Why don't you tell the kind people what the story is here? What's going on with Facebook today?
Yeah. So all of the Facebook network is down. So everything that Facebook owns, so WhatsApp, Instagram, Oculus, all of their servers have been down. No one's been able to access any of their social media profiles, any of their accounts through this. And this has really caused an uproar, and then also has led to a lot of jokes against Facebook because Facebook's been down for hours and it hasn't affected people's lives that much. So like you were saying, people were saying that, hey, it can stay down.
Yeah, let it stay down. A few people I follow on Twitter are like, my life is technically a little bit better without having to babysit Facebook notifications right now. So let it stay down. It's an
Yeah.
interesting little thought, and I wonder if it can catch some critical momentum here. But we got to bring up this fact that the Facebook employees are actually locked out of the building, or those who are already in the building can't do anything because all of the employee badges are controlled by IoT devices. And with Facebook's DNS server completely shot to crap, that means literally they can't open doors.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when the world gets too much connected to technology. I mean, I've seen like horror movies where you have people hacking into smart homes when a person's entire house is controlled by everything on technology. So their garage, the temperature, the lights, the blinds, it's all through technology. So if someone can hack it, that's really scary. So it makes me want to like maybe take some technology a little out of my life. But it's also ironic because we're saying this on a cryptocurrency
Yeah. Well,
podcast.
so
But
let's connect this to cryptocurrency, because the broad theme of crypto is decentralization. And here's a textbook example of centralization absolutely exploding in the face of a multi-billion-dollar company. Facebook has lost about $50 billion worth of market value over the
wow.
past market cycle, just less than 24 hours. So yeah, it's an embarrassing situation. And it's funny that to me that the only way Facebook can actually communicate any sort of status update about what's going on is via Twitter. So they tweeted just about lunchtime on Monday. We're aware that some people are having trouble accessing our apps and products. We're working to try to get things back to normal as quickly as possible, and we apologize for any inconvenience. Now, here we are 4 hours after the fact, and there's been no substantive update. Now, my journalistic experience tells me that this means there is no solution. They don't know what's going on. And now they're working on the best way to communicate that, hey, we have no idea what's going on. The latest tweet from Facebook is actually a retweet from Mike Schrupfer, who is the new CTO at Facebook. And he says, sincere apologies to everyone impacted by outages of Facebook and by outages of Facebook powered services right now. We are experiencing networking issues, and teams are working as fast as possible to debug and restore as fast as possible. So you know it's serious when he's saying as fast as possible twice in the same sentence.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of interested at this very generalized description of we're having networking issues. Did somebody delete the DNS, which is what I think might have actually happened? I have a little bit of a conspiratorial mind that tells me somebody in a very, very powerful place said, you know what? We're going to F with Facebook today because they've been doing too much. Facebook, you've been doing too much. And I kind of feel like somebody or some organization, somebody with the capacity to do something like this. I think this is an intentional hack. Like we should bring up, Jacob, that there's a second Facebook whistleblowing case going on right now.
Yeah.
Where is she still a current employee, or probably
No,
now a
she's
former employee?
a former Facebook data scientist. She had, so the first thing was that she said that Facebook has been putting profits before safety, which I don't think you need a whistleblower to say that. Any big corporation that's a public company is going to be wanting to please their investors, maybe before safety. So That's not the biggest thing, but she also claimed that Facebook has been misleading investors about how it handles hate speech and misinformation on its platform. And she's going to be testifying before Congress tomorrow on Tuesday, October 5th.
Yeah, I mean, and I will throw this out there, not financial advice at all, guys, but I personally have entered a short position on Facebook stock. This is too many bad things happening at the same time for this company. So the way to profit is to short the stock. At least that's what I think. Absolutely not financial advice.
And so for me on the flip side of that, I might say, well, Facebook's down 5% today. And Facebook is such a big corporation, it has so many subsidiaries. I think Facebook can take a hit, and there's been whistleblowers before. There has been a lot of bad press, and it's over 2021. It still has outperformed the S&P 500. So I might be on the flip side of that and say, don't short it. Maybe don't enter a position, but don't short it.
Right. Well, so to be clear, I'm short-term momentum trade. I'm not going to stay long for weeks and weeks. This week is really what I'm looking at. At any rate, we'll certainly be paying attention to what this whistleblower has to say in front of Congress tomorrow. But if you're being described as a whistleblower, it's not exactly going to be complimentary commentary, is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's bring up some more immediately crypto-focused topics, Jacob. I know we've got some news out of Africa.
Yeah. So the Federal High Court of Nigeria approved the eNaira CBDC rollout. I think this was just today or yesterday. Nigeria is joining a list of countries and regulators across the world who want to roll out central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, as legal tender. So it's named eNaira, eNaira. It's a digital currency that will be issued by the central bank and supported by the homegrown eNaira wallet. Nigeria claims, which I agree with this claim, that it's going to, circulate alongside its fiat counterpart, and two, it's going to be faster, cheaper, and a more secure option for monetary transactions. And that I believe, because it's crypto, and that's usually how crypto works when it's compared to fiat currency. And one last thing on this note is that this move is very timely. It makes sense for Nigeria because the fiat currency has been falling since the past 20 years. It's right now at its lowest point ever since 2003. So it's a time for Nigeria to get into crypto, to get into CBDCs, and it makes sense now. If their currency, their fiat currency is so devalued, this is what they need to kind of bump them back up, get them back on track.
Yeah, I mean, all this says to me is that the momentum is slowly building around the world for these topics. I think we can point to El Salvador as kind of being the biggest elephant in the room right now, and I suspect that this will trickle to the rest of Latin America. But if Nigeria is going to be a player in crypto for the African part of the world, then it's just kind of exciting to see it take place, especially if it makes as much sense as it does, with that country having the currency trouble that it's had over the past 2 decades.
Yeah, definitely.
What's next, and what's most interesting on the little list of news we got here, Jacob?
Well, I think this is actually very cool. It's the CoinDesk released their top universities for blockchain list today, which is similar to if you see like the US News or Wall Street Journal or any of these big organizations releasing just top 100 universities in the US, just a ranking list. This is similar, but this is specifically for blockchain, and it's a global list. So the way CoinDesk ranked it was by crypto and blockchain related courses, research output, campus blockchain offerings, which includes student clubs or research centers, employment outcomes, academic reputation, and cost. So the number one on the list, which scored a 100 out of 100, is the National University of Singapore. And this is a result of its multiple blockchain research centers. It frequently hosts blockchain-themed conferences. It has many blockchain comms, blockchain clubs and company partnerships. So we got number one on the list is the National University of Singapore. Number two, Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology. Number three, University of California, Berkeley. Number four, University of Zurich. And number five, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT.
I will confess being a little surprised to see MIT not being the top ranked US school for blockchain. This is a university that's historically so linked to disruptive technology, and they are second domestically to UC Berkeley, which is just interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't have the exact numbers here, but it's interesting because this is not, so they had their first university ranking last year. This is now the second one, and we can see that Cornell, which is an Ivy League in the US, was ranked second last year. It's now in 17th place.
Ooh.
Stanford, which is the Ivy League of the West Coast, was placed fourth last year. It's now in 12th. Harvard was fifth last year. It's now 49th. So went from the top of the pack to the bottom of the pack. And that's just really showing in the past year from 2020 to 21, just the strong competition, schools really just starting to incorporate blockchain into their curriculum, into their academic culture, into partnerships. So it's a change, and it's showing that you don't need to be a Harvard or Stanford to be at the top. Harvard's 49th out of 50.
Yeah. It also says to me that it's a very dynamic landscape, and that if you are complacent and perhaps you just trade on the credibility of your name, Stanford, for example, that's obviously not enough to cut it. You have to stay relevant. You have to be out there in the world doing things, making things and breaking things, perhaps.
Exactly.
But at any rate, interesting little factoid to take away here is that if you are seeking a blockchain education, the best place to be doing that right now is Singapore. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
What's next on the list, Jacob? I think we can do two more.
Yeah, I think we can talk about Polygon. So just recently, Polygon actually flipped Ethereum on active user addresses. So this was on October 2nd, so 2 days ago. Polygon's count of unique daily addresses active either as a sender or receiver rose to the record high of 566,000 on Saturday, which actually passed Ethereum for the first time, when Ethereum's tally stood at 527,000. So that's almost 40,000 more active addresses. And the number of active addresses on Polygon has grown by 168% in the past 30 days, while Ethereum has gone up by 0.6%.
Wow.
And the reasoning for this growth is one, NFTs, NFT adoption, NFT gaming. That's really fueled the growth in the Polygon's user base. And what's interesting to note is that increased network usage usually translates into a higher demand for the native token and an increase in price. That's how it works. When there's more users, more people wanting to use the platform, and in turn, the token goes up. But even though there's been a 168% growth in the past 30 days, Polygon's MATIC token, that's MATIC, has only risen 12% in the first 4 days of October. So in the past 4 days, it's only risen 12% to $1.27. And it's still down from its high in September of $1.80. So not investment advice, but it seems like with this crazy increase in active user addresses, there hasn't been an increase in the token yet. So that may be soon to follow. I don't know, but that's what we're looking at.
Right. If anybody who's been paying attention to Token Metrics for a while knows that we love our altcoins, and I guess an altcoin is technically anything that isn't called Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But Ethereum seems to be on its way to losing altcoin status. It is like the biggest granddaddy of altcoins. So perhaps this is the new one to be paying the most attention to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've also at Token Metrics have been pounding the table on Polygon MATIC for months. So
yes. Oh, longer than months.
Yeah. They've heard us speak about Polygon before. So
yeah, well, maybe this little piece of information is all it takes to push it over the edge. We'll see. Again, not financial advice, but we are here to raise interesting flags for you to make your own decisions.
Exactly.
Guys, the name of the podcast is Engine Room. We are here 3 days a week to talk about the crypto news cycle and what goes on behind the scenes at Token Metrics. We're here to be your resource. If you have anything that you'd like us to cover, if there's something that we can get out there for you, please get in touch. You can tweet me at Dylan Love, or just write to me, Dylan@tokenmetrics.com. And we are just basically eager to be your biggest resource in crypto. Jacob, do we have any parting words before we wrap this thing up?
Everyone stay safe out there. Markets have been bloody, but crypto is back. Crypto is up about 12% in the past 24 hours. So that's good. We like to see that. And we also like to see the non-correlation between crypto and the US equity markets. US stock market was down 2% and crypto is not down. So that's great to see.
Yep. And it was a day like today where fiat and legacy finance folks were pounding the table saying, hey, what about this Bitcoin stuff?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that'll do it for today. We'll see you Wednesday for the roundtable discussion and Friday for the one-on-one with a Token Metrics employee. Be well. Talk soon.